On this most recent episode of the Cypherglass East meets West AMA, where we tried to bridge the gap between the Eastern and Western EOS communities, I talked with Denny from Huobi and Sheldon from EOS Shenzhen, and we had a really interesting conversation on the current state of EOS, their thoughts on governance and what can be done to fix it, and so much more. Now, I understand not everybody has the time to watch this entire interview, so I have your back. If you take a look at the description below, you'll see links to easy clickable timestamps on YouTube that will take you directly to points in the interview that I think are worthwhile and that you should listen to. These are moments in the conversation when I went, oh wow, that's meaningful. That's something that people should know has been said on this interview. So I've highlighted those specific moments in the description below. And of course, if you have the time to watch the entire thing, then I recommend that as well, as the entire episode is filled with good content. So without further ado, here it is, the Cypherglass East meets West AMA with Sheldon from EOS Shenzhen and Denny from Huobi. I'm joined today by Sheldon from EOS Shenzhen and Denny from Huobi. And I'm sure you all have heard of both of these awesome companies, and they are here today to join us in the next installment of this East meets West series, where we will ask them your questions that you submitted on Twitter and in Telegram for this AMA. So Sheldon and Denny, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm really glad I can hear and share something about both and our project.
Yeah, thank you, Ro, for inviting us.
Absolutely. So I do want to talk about BOSS, and we got some questions about it as well. Scott Owen on Twitter says, what use case for 3-second lib is there in the East? And is BOSS on this with a specific problem in mind? So when you designed that 3-second lib, that 3-second finality on chain, was there a specific problem you were trying to solve?
Okay, so actually, for example, we want to use very simple example like the e-payment actually is very common in China. For example, you really don't need to use the cash to pay in China. So sometimes we use Alipay, sometimes we use WeChat payment. And if imagine you're using the BTC to make the payment and Bitcoin, and it really requires more than 30 minutes to make the verification. And even you use the EOS, which is usually requires 2 to 3 minutes to really to make the money transfer to your account or to the client account. So it's really a very long time. So the 3-second leads to really confirm the verification, the transactions really come to your counterparty's account or to your account in 3 seconds. So this is verification time. So it really ensures a seamless transaction in the real use case. For example, you purchase any product or buy food, a very common daily usage.
Okay, that's great. And this leads me into another question from Scott Owen as well, who says, does the BOSS team plan to propose 3-second irreversibility back to the main EOSIO code? So is that something you're planning on doing?
Actually, we're planning on doing, and we're still trying to fix the issues on the 3 seconds. We call it batch the BPFT, and there's still some little bugs or little issues to be fixed, and we already successfully implement on the BOS testnet, and we are going to migrate to the BOS mainnet. Once we make sure that all the 3-second lead is run stably, and also is confident in the communities, we definitely submit a pull request to the BOS mainnet.
Oh, great. That's exciting, and I know a lot of people will be super excited to hear that. He also says, is it possible to select either batch BFT or pipeline BFT at runtime, or is something like that not possible?
This actually we're still on the discussion, and so what I can give to you is like it's possible, but it's still under development, and maybe Deadlock can have a further interview with you guys and to talk about these possibilities. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then we have a question from Evan who says, what is Huobi? There's a couple of questions in here. He says, what is Huobi Pool's relationship with the block producers based in Hong Kong?
Sorry, block producer relation with what? With Hong Kong or?
Yeah, he wants to know if Huobi Pool has any relationship with the block producers that are based in Hong Kong.
Based in Hong Kong, actually, sorry, I'm not quite following you because our relationship with block producer based in Hong Kong. Actually, legally we based on Cayman Island or British Virgin Island,
Yeah, we can
but
skip part of the question if we need
yes,
to.
but we actually our office based in Hainan, Haikou actually is not a South province in China. So that's all. We are a business department in Huobi Group. That's all.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And he wants to know, specifically to mainland China, with regulation there around cryptocurrency, do you have any contingency plans to move outside of mainland China if the legal conditions got bad and say they...
So about cryptocurrency, the regulation in China, that means, we also have the monetary authority not to allow us to issue any cryptocurrency. But on the other hand, we also have another authority in the government that allow us to provide technology service to the blockchain industry. So as a block producer, it's totally legal in China. But on the other hand, if you want to issue a token, and also do some initial public offering, something like that, it's totally legal. So we just provide a technology service. So we are legal in mainland China. So we don't have so much plan to move our people or employee out of China.
Okay, that's fascinating. And do you have any other insight into the current regulatory situation in China? Do you think it's being perceived well by regulators?
I think for now, all the regulation has been granted. That means we don't know which is really the bottom line for the regulator really can bear it, can allow us to do. So for now, we just trying to do something more. Let's say we talk to lawyers. We also talk to regulator to know what can we do for now. For now, we know a block user is okay. So I think regulators are okay for now, but who knows for China's regulator.
Right. It seems very similar to us in the US where, we know it's okay for now and we're sort of waiting to see what happens in the future. It's pretty funny how that happens. We have another question from Justin Buck. This is more of a request. He wants to know if you can explain how users can engage in the BOSS network to become more involved.
Sheldon, I think it's your aspect.
So how to involve in the BOS? I think there are two ways. So if you are like developer or individual developers, I think there's definitely two ways. I think there's a bug bounty for 3-second leaps. So if you can discover a bug or discover critical issues of the leaps, 3-second leaps algorithm, and definitely can get a bounty after you get approved by the team, that most executive team. And secondly is like there's a rewarding rewarding system, like you can have the DAPP, you have the debt, you can create the debt, and also you run it upon the BOS, and based on the number of actions, the critical actions of your DAPP section, like the transfer or like the user click the button or login actions. So the more user do this action on the BOS chain, and you will get a commensurate with the amount of the BOS that's rewarding by the system. So there is a system that we're still under discussion. Actually, it's already launched on the February, but we're still under discussion on how to really implement this and massively implement this to the communities. And we used to experiment in the sandbox in a small scale of level, like several devs try to adopt this system, but we're still under discussion how to do the massive adoption to the more devs. And this is for developers, and also for if you are like a US block producer, we definitely welcome you to join as a block producers, and maybe we can work for you guys, and we can encourage the communities to really work for the guys. And this is the second week. And the third week actually is we want to introduce EOS WPS, which is a worker proposal system on EOS. And this is actually inherited or inspired by the EOS WPS or referendum system. And what we want to do is really encourage all the communities, no matter where from the west or east. Actually, it's English page, so it's very convenient for the Westerner to propose a worker proposal, which is good for your company or your entity, or also it's good for the both chain to improve the usability or increase the security or increase the scalability of the BOS chain. And right now there's already 35 or more than 30 worker proposals on the BOS WPS.io, this website. And honestly, a lot of the Western people like blog producers or developers is already submit the worker proposals on the website. And the maximum amount of fund you can request is 1 million BOS. And I think currently the BOS is 0.5 RMB, or previously it's 1 RMB. Yeah, so 1 BOS the price, and it's quite significant of the incentives for the communities. So this is very well the range of the referendum type of the proposal you can submit. For example, it's good for building communities of media building, or doing the broadcasting, or doing marketing, even doing the community building, and also definitely for the code, the level of coding, and algorithm, and also securities like Slow Miss is a security company doing the firewall, and also other different DAPPs you can request, as long as it's reasonable, as long as it's good for you, it's good for US. It's definitely welcome. You guys should submit proposals on the website. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, yeah. Great. And one of the biggest sort of concerns about the worker proposal system on EOS was that whales were going to manipulate it and that there would be problems with the system. Have you seen any problems so far with the worker proposal system on BOSS?
I would like to say there are definitely some problems. For example, the high threshold is not I wouldn't interpret it as a problem or is a phenomenon. No, it's like currently the threshold for passing the proposal or going to the next stage of the proposal requires 14 million votes, and that is very significant of the money, because BOS didn't launch the. I'm also a community participant. They didn't launch the initial coin offering, so they didn't go to the public sale. They only go to one round of the private sale, and other tokens is going on the new DEX. So the amount of token, the spread of token is one of the concerns that's sometimes a little bit concerned for the US WPS, but every system is not perfect, it's imperfect. We still trying to improve, to promote the community participant in the both community, both in the east and on the west. And probably recently we only focus on the east part, and we definitely welcome, for example, everything US to join together, if we can do it together, to find a solution in all the promotion in the western communities.
Okay, great. And then Justin also has a question for Denny at Huobi. He says, what does Huobi think about BitHum recently voting those 5 million EOS tokens and their call to the community to build tools to help their customers vote for themselves? And of course, he's talking about BitHum, who just voted, I believe it was 5 million EOS to Brock Pierce's proxy. So what does Huobi think about that?
We noticed that. I think it's Friday's. I think it's happening Friday. Brock BitHum just dedicated 5 million tokens to Brock Pierce's proxy. We don't have so much comments about it. We are very happy to see another big exchange involved in this ecosystem, and I believe they are really big exchange in Korea, I think. So with their contribution, I think the US community will have more energy and more people to devote themselves in this let's say the technology and involve more people who have tokens. I think it's better for the US community. But about the vote, actually in that part we don't have so much things to say.
Okay, no problem. And Justin also says, from the context of being an exchange, what is Huobi doing as an exchange to prepare yourselves for the EOS 1.8 upgrade?
We, as a Huobi exchange, of course, we are exchange, so we will do everything we know and to prepare the security of our customers and clients' assets. About other things, let's say, we have two different, business units. For Huobi Pool, we are block users, so we are totally prepared for the 1.8 point upgrade. As exchange, of course, we also have technical people. Of course, it's totally independent because we have a firewall between the Huobi Pool and exchange. The exchange is totally prepared for the 1.8 upgrade for the the safety, and actually our clients will feel about the upgrade. So that's all.
Okay, great. And then he has a question for both of you. So Denny, if you want to answer first, and then Sheldon can answer after. He says, do you think it's better to have even more forks of EOSIO than we do now? And what does this future of EOSIO look like if we do have a bunch of forks in the future?
For now, EOSIO is the open source blockchain software trying to solve every enterprise problem. So I believe we need more EOSIO. I more consider the US mainnet as a hub, trying to connect every sidechain and every, let's say the software based on EOSIO, was developed based on different company, because each EOSIO chain can trying to solve a different problem, different specific problem. Let's say if a company trying to build a new really big game, let's say something like the War or the Battlefield or something like that. For now, the only one US mainnet cannot solve this problem. So they can build their new sidechain and trying to connect the US mainnet. So I more consider, I consider this sidechain more like let's say a sidechain, not forked. So for now, we don't think we have forked chain because there's a deposed chain. We don't have some POW things, so we don't have fork. So that's all.
Okay, great. And then Sheldon, if you'd like to comment on that as well.
Yeah. So actually, for both, if you look all the parameters on the code level, you can see the BOS developers or both the executive team, they didn't change all the name. It still keep EOSIO. Even the core account is still called EOSIO token. So based on that, the BOS definitely recognize the value of the US, and we do think that is the mother of all the EOSIO set chain. And what the role of BOS is, we really want to serve as a free pot, as we see in the in the white paper, because we want to provide the IBC solutions, inter-blockchain communication, which will be decentralized way to exchange token from the other EOSIO chain, and also the packet coin, which we're trying to realize with some famous or prominent or top exchange in the world. I want to collaborate with them and to provide the pack token service, which is use the smart contract which you can track on chain, whether you can deposit the token from one US chain to one account, and also the other chain, the issue a coin on the account, on the other chain account, so transfer to that account. That is called cross chain. So US want to serve as a free pot for all the EOSIO chains, in the blockchain space and blockchain sectors. So the more the merrier, I think, for this both for this sector or for the industrial. It represents the robustness of the EOSIO system, and especially for the EOSIO code. And also definitely not only for public chain, also for the enterprise chain. So if more enterprise willing to adopt the USIO system, so some of the companies in Shenzhen already talk to us. They say they're very interested in US technology, both on both or US. So maybe we can help them to build their own enterprise chain. So that, I think, is a great opportunity if more chains come over. Yeah.
That's great. And what do you see happening on the IBC or the cross-chain front? Are you guys working on any solutions at BOSS to help IBC happen?
Yeah, I think we are working on it. So there already, currently the version we are released is version 2. I think maybe later I can send the link to you guys. And the version 2 of the IBC solutions is already improved upon the version 1, which is more stable. And after we verify the leap, 3-second leap is really stable, and we're going to launch the version 3. So that really combines the quick verification with fast cross-chain solutions. So it's easier to, it's definitely, I mean, within very short period, you can transfer the token from one USIO chain to another USIO chain. So this solution is definitely open source, and we'll welcome all the community participants to use it. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And
yeah,
sorry
for that. I emphasize that even Daniel Rama also gave a praise for the EOS IBC, or implicitly gives the praise of the USIO or the EOS IBC solutions in the Telegram channel. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm excited to see how that plays out. And I think everybody's sort of waiting for some kind of IBC release. So that's very exciting. Definitely look forward to that. From both of you, and let's start with Denny, what's your current opinion on the state of governance on the EOS mainnet right now? Do you think it's in a good place? Do you think it could improve? What are your overall thoughts on governance?
About governance, for now, I don't think US really execute a really good governance for now, because from the start, we think governance should be controlled by a centralized group, such as ECAF. Just we can introduce someone who can, act like a judge or a justice in the new nation, just like EOS. But for now, all the people can act whatever he wants in the US system, just like, let's say, in state of nature. We can execute anyone as long as we have enough power. We just be ourselves in the US community. So let's say we maybe need to introduce a new system after this chaos. So, but for now, we don't have so much good solutions. But I think when the times fly, the more people will realize governance still very important in the system. We need some professional people can issue or can public their opinions, their independent opinion, and ask all the followers and these block users and token holders to follow their opinion to solve some problem. But they also need someone who can have the enforceable force to execute their opinion or orders. Maybe they come from block user, or maybe they come from the token holders, or maybe they come from other group like the block one or something like that. But we will see. But for now, nobody can solve this problem for now.
Okay, interesting. So you're basically saying you think we need some kind of a group of respected individuals within the EOS community to sort of create a new governance system.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. That makes a lot of sense. And Sheldon, do you have any thoughts on the current state of governance as well?
Actually, yeah. So talking about governance, actually, they're really related to the very different sector. For example, you're doing the arbitration. For example, if your account is lost and come to the arbitrator to come for arbitrations, and sometimes we're talking about the BOS. Sometimes we talk about the referendum of the WPS, who is to judge the worker proposal is passed or not. So I want to talk about the WPS sector. So introduce this sector. So and there is some prominent or the respected people As Denny already said, so the WPS system actually implement this kind of system. So it's called the both executive team. So this also include both BOS Eastern participant, also definitely some Western participant. For example, the US Sweden, USDC, the Michael from USDC, and also Eve from US nations, and like Eagle from the US Rail. So all these participants represent they used to be reliable and trustworthy in the EOSIO system. So the form is 25 people of the BOS executive team. So after the voting, after the 20 days of this satisfies one proposal satisfies the passing criteria. So the 40 million BOS is sticking to the proposal for 20 days. So the BOS executive team will try to decide. They're going to vote on whether the proposal is going to pass or not. So there is already an escrow system implemented upon it. Yeah. So that is that actually is an experiment. So BOS want to do is to experiment to implement different alternative way to implement besides the US. Yeah. So US they used to do the referendum, or they didn't have this kind of group of people. But what we're trying to do is like create a sandbox for experimental sandbox for US. So if this is very good, useful, and have a lot of acceptance from the communities, maybe we'll try to push it to the US community to seek their acceptance. Yeah.
Oh, okay, very cool. And is that sort of the long-term goal of BOS? And is it to basically be that sandbox for EOS so that you can create these other ideas, or is there some other long-term goal with BOS?
Yeah, so both. So one of the missions, or one of the target that we intend to do is to really become the sandbox for the US, and we're trying to experiment the new stuff, or new things, new ways of governance, new ways of like algorithm of the consensus algorithms. We try to experiment different part of the blockchain on BOS, and if it works good, we definitely like to push it to the US. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. And then to shift back to Huobi, this is a question about tokens and EOS tokens on Huobi. Zach wants to know, does Huobi have any plans to list any EOS tokens, and what would it take for them to do so?
About that part, I cannot answer because we have the exchange department. But we open the exchange who could, let's say, the EOS exchange in Huobi, and we upgraded the Eco exchange. We already list a couple of tokens in EOS in our exchange. And all things you need to do, if you really issue a token, or you are a project developer in your EOS token, you only need to contact our exchange and upload all the materials you have, and we have compliance department and legal department to review all your materials you upload. And after that, we will say that if you are totally okay with our compliance, so you can list your token in your exchange. So I don't think we will charge you for some like tokens or monies. All things you need to do, just trying to be a good project.
Okay, great. And do you all have are you looking at any EOS stablecoins at the moment? We have Carbon, there's EOSDT. Are you looking at any of those to potentially bring to the exchange, since there are stablecoins that people are using from other chains?
Just like the other tokens, no matter stablecoin or just utility coin or security coins, all thing you need is just upload your materials to our compliance department or business development department. After that, we'll review your request and say what should we do. But for now, I don't think we already get enough material for stable coin from the US. So you don't come to us, we cannot come to you.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I want to get into a couple personal questions here. Obviously, still focused on EOS and everything you guys are working on. But I want to know from both of you, what is it about DPoS? Because obviously DPoS is the thing, it's the similarity between BOSS and EOS and all these EOSIO chains. What is it about DPoS that you both like so much that draws you to EOS and BOSS?
Sheldon?
Yeah, so actually in the last weekend, I already participated like the Griffin, which is a BitShares Technologies conference in Shanghai. It's a global conference of the BitShares. And there are many rounds of roundtable like chat. So all the sharing sections. Actually, in the several roundtable sections, the BitShares people from different part of China or different part of the world, they actually talk a little bit on harmoniously. I mean, they're not very familiar with each other. They're trying to present their own company's ideas and their solutions to the audience. And the last session actually is the USIO sections. It also in that section you have the Meet One, you have the US Asian, you also have Huobi. So all the people like Dafeng, I think you're very familiar. And also one, Mr. Gao from Dafeng, they talk very harmoniously. I mean, they know each other, they're very familiar with each other because I think they attend many meetups. They know each other very well, so they know each other what they are doing and they know their confidence. So what they are talking is more about the development, the whole comprehensive development of the EOS, the ideas of EOS and blockchain, block.1. So the DPoS, I think, it's a very different models compared to previous governance models. So, and especially in the US, and US definitely is the extended version of the BitShares and of the DPoS version. Yeah. So it really stimulates the spirit and considerate discussions among all the participants around the world. It's like a really voluntary communications, no centralized foundation to hold this meetup, but really the voluntary prompt up of all the meetup and also the Zoom calls. They want to connect to each other. So I think it's a very new and a great way to explore and promising way to for the new way of governance and the consensus system. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then I also want to know from both of you as well, what do you see the EOSIO ecosystem looking like a year from now or 3 years from now or 5 years from now? What's your sort of grand vision for the entire EOSIO ecosystem?
Denny.
Okay. So for now, actually, USSO, I shouldn't say that, but USSO for now is the only, let's say, the US blockchain software who can apply to some more complex task. We have different chains. From exchange respect, we already have Ethereum. We also have algorithm and Tron and others. So let's say the different chains sounds like a different software, just like the Android, like the Windows, like the Mac. So we need more people develop in such blockchain. So if for now, of course, EOSIO is the best, but we know in the future if we can keep this the best for the other blockchain, that means more people will use this software to develop, to write code, to ask more enterprise and a big company to use the software in different aspects. So with that means all the things can go to US mainnet. So after 1 year, I think more small company will use EOSIO to manage their, let's say, the clients and to manage their, let's say, the equities and something like that. But 5 years, if Google, WhatsApp, Twitter, and Alibaba and Tencent can use the software, that means if they use the USIO, that means they have to connect it with the US mainnet. If they use something in US mainnet, that means they have to keep the safety of the US mainnet. So they will become blob users. If we really make this happen, that means US is most valuable course, utility course in this history and in the future. So I think the USIO has a bright future, but we still have something to solve. After that, I believe the US maybe is more valuable than Bitcoins. That's all.
Awesome. That's great. And Sheldon, do you have anything to add there?
So so what is Sneak OEO? What is possible? What is real promising solution? Actually, is really time can tell. And for US, I think there's still a lot of improvement for USIO system and also the US system. A lot of improvement, but based on current solutions, I mean, the USIO really provide greatest infrastructure in technical point of view, technical perspective. Really great the infrastructure that you can realize a lot of phases and you can upgrade based upon the US. So I really think in the years in the future we're looking for, there are definitely more enterprise and will adopt it, and definitely more public will try to adopt the USIO system.
Okay, great. And that's all the questions we have for now, but I wanted to give you both an opportunity to sort of let people know where they can contact you and add anything else that you'd like to add. So Sheldon, why don't we start with you, and then we can go to Denny and we can close it out.
Do you mean the way to contact with us?
Yeah, where to contact you, and then if you have anything else you'd like to add, now would be a great time.
So this is my Telegram chat ID, so Sheldon PP, so this is my Telegram ID, and also you can find me on the BOS mainnet or BP and BOS mainnet developers groups, and also I'm also on the WeChat. You can also find me on WeChat.
Perfect. And then Denny?
Yeah, you can contact me on Twitter. It's just Denny Wu, and of course any Telegram. You can just search me because I already in a lot Telegram group, and also in WeChat. So you can contact me. When you have time and anything you want to know about Huobi pool or Huobi group, something like that. That's all.
Perfect. That's great. Well, thank you both so much for all of your time. I really do appreciate it. And we'll have to do another follow-up call perhaps sometime in the future to sort of talk about everything that's happened then, maybe another 6 months or a year from now, and sort of look back on where we were today compared to then. It'll be pretty exciting. So thank you both. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thanks. See you guys later. So that is it for this episode of the Cypherglass East Meets West AMA. Now, if you want us to continue this, please let us know who you'd like us to have on next from the Eastern EOS community. And if you'd like to see more Western BPs and Western figures from the EOS community on this series as well, let us know in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Rob from Cypherglass, and remember, go EOS!